Hello guys, today I want to talk about how social media can affect teens and how it is causing more harm than good than anything else. The general purpose is to inform students and people that social media causes more harm than good because social networking websites such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram serve as distractions to one's personal well-being. So staying off of social media or just visiting the sites every now and then can help with one's concentration and become more accomplished. I chose this topic because more and more people are using social media to connect to friends and family. However, with the distraction of Facebook and Twitter, we are losing out communication and interaction skills with the real world. There are less face-to-face interactions nowadays than online networking. It is important to communicate with others rather than just use technology to get our emotions and thoughts out. With the creation of the internet, the growth of information evolved exponentially through different sources of media, whether that would be through social media, blogs, or articles. Social media has rapidly altered our traditional understanding of how interaction occurs through private conversations and the public. As social media increases, there is less and less privacy, as well as a decrease in self-esteem, since social media is usually glamorized. There are only the positive sides of one's life rather than negative sides. In my personal experience, when I'm on Facebook or Twitter, I see only people posting positive things. It's very unlikely that someone posts something negative. And even if it's negative, there's a little bit of a sugarcoating over that negative. Let's go into some negative effects of social media in society. There is loss of communication skills. Loss of communications and skills such as you won't get the feel for a person, such as face-to-face communications. Being on social media is just messaging another person. So there's a little bit of a downside in that sense. However, it can be also positive for some people because if you message someone, you don't really need to be shy, so you can actually say what you need to say. However, if you're face to face, you'll be kind of a little bit uneasy since you'll be more concerned about what the other person thinks. Another thing, this can be effective with students actually, because it can affect students because poor performance in academics, for example. A lot of people study while being on Facebook or Twitter or checking their Snapchats. People think that there's not that much of an influence because they can just get their work done and whatever. It works out for some people, they can multitask. However, being on those websites while actually doing homework can cloud the way you think, especially if you're trying to read something and you lose your train of thought or writing a research paper or something like doing math problems. It can really affect a person because you will feel the need to always see what this person posts on Facebook rather than actually looking at how studying can actually improve yourself, or in this case, your grade, because that's really important. In terms of adults seem to engage in social networking less, and this can make sense personally to me because obviously there's not enough time. You have so many responsibilities with work and also feeding your kids. Some psychological issues are in the mental state, anxiety issues, and the overall lowered self-esteem, an addiction to social networking websites every second. Let's look at some sources about how a person's use of social media can affect her well-being or mental state. She always needed to load her Snapchat stories one more time or to reply to a message that had come in 2 minutes ago because she didn't want her friend to feel ignored. This was from The Guardian. And this one person is named Mariah. So what this shows is she always feels the need to actually use social media rather than trying to actually engage in her personal well-being. She always feels the need to be quick in her response rather than take her time. However, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because as long as you respond, the other person will receive it. Another source is how social media can be affect teenagers' life. Social networking can be much more immediately engaging with the teenager's life than parents are. So students and kids feel the more need to be more interactive with social media better since it's more easy and more convenient. These are the two sources that I think that social media has the greatest influence on. Social media has positive outcomes on youth and people in general, no doubt about that, since it allows you one to connect to another in ways that if communicating one-on-one was impossible. However, we must understand that social media can cause a toll on one's self-being, since there is a lack of communication through this medium. Here we can look at two visual aids. This visual aid shows how social networking websites can affect one person. It can be more analyzed, but the basic idea is this clouds his mental state. Another visual aid is how mass destruction can be effective. It's an analogy playing on social media, and all these test tubes show that how it can cloud another person's thinking. Thank you.